You're in bed. It's been a 19-hour day. Your legs are actually sore. Your eyes have that gritty, overowed feeling. Every part of your body is asking for sleep, and your mind will not stop. Not racing exactly, more like a hum you can't switch off. You're not even thinking about anything in particular. You're just on, awake in a way that has nothing to do with how tired you are. You've told yourself the obvious things. You need to rest more. You need to unwind before bed. Maybe cut the caffeine, and none of it is actually the answer, because it isn't a rest problem. Your body already did its job today. What's still running is something else, and there's a name for it. Here's the fastest way I know to test what's actually going on. You can do it right now, wherever you're watching this. Sitting at a desk, on the couch, waiting in a parking lot, it doesn't matter. Open your hands all the way and let your fingers go loose, palms up if you can, and notice, are they curled? Even a little. Most people carry a slight fist without knowing it, especially by the end of the day. It's such a small thing your conscious mind doesn't register it, but your nervous system does. A closed hand is one of the oldest signals that your body has a still on alert. It doesn't ask whether the alert makes sense, it just responds to the shape. So open the hand and let it go heavy. Let the fingers spread like you're setting something down you've been carrying for hours, because you have been. I want you to remember how simple that is, because tonight, when you're actually lying there with the engine running, this is the first thing I want you to try. Not to force sleep, just to send your body one honest signal. The hands are open, so whatever's on watch can stand down just a little. You put the car in park hours ago. Nobody told the engine. I'm Dr. Sean Garrity. For close to 30 years, I've sat across people, most of them business owners, running hard on very little margin, who are exhausted and wired at the same time and can't figure out why. It's not a discipline problem, and it's not in your head the way you think. It's a specific pattern in how your body handles stress. And once you can see it, it stops feeling like something's broken in you. Here's what's actually happening. Your body runs on two separate systems that usually move together. One tracks fuel, how much physical energy you have left. The other tracks threat, whether it's safe to power down. Most nights, after a long day, both systems agree. The fuel is low and the threat system has nothing left to watch for, so you sleep. But under sustained pressure, deadlines, a business that depends on you, a phone that doesn't stop, those two systems can come apart. Your fuel tank runs out right on schedule. You get tired exactly when you should, but the threat system doesn't check the fuel gauge. It runs on its own clock, and it's been active all day tracking a dozen small emergencies. It keeps running well past the point where your body's ready for sleep. That's the idling engine. You've parked the car, the day is over, but nobody sent the signal to the ignition, so it keeps turning over, burning fuel you don't have anymore. This is why just rest more doesn't fix it. Rest refills the tank. It does nothing to the ignition. You can sleep in on a Saturday and still lie there at midnight wired, because the tank was never the problem. What actually works is sending the threat system a signal it can recognize as safety, on purpose, instead of waiting for it to run down on its own. That's a different move than resting, and it's one most people have never been taught, because nobody explained there are two separate systems to begin with. I want to tell you about Michael, who is like a composite picture of many people I've worked with. Michael runs a regional logistics company, 22 years building it from 3 trucks to a fleet that keeps half a dozen local manufacturers running on schedule. He knows more about idling engines than almost anyone I've worked with. And it took him a while to laugh at the metaphor, because it described his life so exactly. Most nights, he'd get home around 8, eat something standing at the counter, and be in bed by 10, bone tired. And most nights, he'd still be awake at midnight, running the same loop. A driver who called in sick, a client who wanted an answer by 7 a.m., a shipment that was going to be late no matter what he did about it at 11 p.m., lying in the dark. He told me he used to think something was wrong with his sleep. Turns out nothing was wrong with his sleep. His threat system had been running fleet logistics all day, and nobody had told it the day was over. We started with the hands, just that. Before bed, open hands, palms up, let them go heavy, 30 seconds, nothing dramatic. He was skeptical, and he told me so. 3 weeks later, he told me something had shifted. Not that he never lies awake anymore. He still does sometimes, but the nights of a full hour staring at the ceiling had mostly stopped. The engine still turns over at times, it just doesn't idle as long. If this is landing and you're recognizing your own version of this tonight, I built something exactly for this. It's called the Calm in 7 Challenge, a simple 7-day rhythm to help you actually shut things down at the end of the day instead of white-knuckling it another night wired. It's free, and the link's in the description below, and it takes about 10 minutes a day. Let's build out the full version of what I gave you earlier, because there's more to it than just the hands, and I want you to have the whole thing. Find a position where your hands can actually rest, on your lap, on the armrest, wherever you are right now, and we'll practice it here, so it's already familiar tonight. First, the hands. Open them up all the way, palms up if that's comfortable, and let your fingers spread, and just notice the difference between a hand that's holding onto something and a hand that's set it down. That's the whole signal. Hold that for a slow count of 5. Now bring your attention to your feet. Same idea, and if they're tense, if your toes are curled even slightly, let them go. Heavy, open, done for the day. Now the breath. And this is the part that most people skip because it feels almost too simple to matter. Breathe in through your nose for a count of 4. And then let it all out slowly through your mouth for a count of 6. Longer exhale than the inhale. And that's the part that matters. The exhale is a part of your breath that tells your threat system the coast is clear. So let's try this right now. In for 4, out for 6. One more time. In for 4, out for 6. And that's it. Open hands, open feet, long exhale. 3 signals all pointing the same direction. The day is over and you can stand down now. Here's what I want you to actually do with this. Don't wait for the wired feeling to show up before you try it. Do it tonight on purpose, at the exact moment you get into bed, before the loop even starts. You're not waiting to put out the fire. You're turning the key before you leave the car. Do that for 7 nights and pay attention to what changes. Not perfection, just attention. The reality is, you are not broken because you're tired and wired at the same time. You're not failing at rest. You're carrying a threat system that's been working overtime for you, doing exactly what it's built to do. And it just needs one clear signal that the shift is over. You put it in park, now you know how to tell the engine. If you want the full 7-day rhythm that builds on everything we covered today, it's called the Calm in 7 Challenge. And the link's in the description, completely free, and I'll see you in the next one. This is Dr. Sean. Make it a great day.